Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Sometimes things just go wrong. I had my RO unit out, normal setup and everything, and I was packing it away and the waste pipe got caught in the back of the chair that I use, and I knocked my 1 litre Pyrex jug off the chair onto the floor and it smashed to smithereens. So I had to spend the next half hour making sure I got every tiny little piece of glass, because although I don't walk about barefoot, nor does Hannah, there's nobody else out here, Mojo does, because he doesn't wear shoes. So I had to make sure I got every single little shard of glass up. And while I was clearing that up, the delivery people came, rang the doorbell to deliver my bark that I ordered. Of course I couldn't hear it because I was out here, so I missed my delivery. That will now be done tomorrow, and the fact that deliveries are due tomorrow means I can't go to see Alan tomorrow and have a look at his glass houses, and specifically his Deesers. So one thing just compounds and leads to another. But a bit of good news. I went to the place to get the blue tubs as planned while booking in my car for its MOT. I did it all in a little circle, and when I got there I measured the pots that the geraniums are in before I left, and they were just under 7 inches across the top. And when I got there, the 2 tubs that I'd planned on getting were only 6.5 internal diameter, so the pots wouldn't have fitted in, they'd have sat on the top. So I thought, oh, let's go and have a look somewhere else. Now those pots were 2 for £22. I got to the somewhere else and saw these. Now these are not quite the same as the others because they haven't got the square sides, so they haven't got quite such a large base. Nonetheless, they are ceramics, they're very heavy, and with those pots in there I don't think they will blow over in the breeze. And I'll try and put them somewhere sheltered anyway. So those geraniums will now fit in those pots, and guess what? They were only £6 each. So sometimes things work out okay. Right, what's going on over here? Some people say that these poppies are weeds. Well, this border is designed as I like to think of it as a woodland glade. So I don't want anything loud, shouty loud, great big huge blooms or anything like that. That's not what I'm after. I'm after a sort of woodland edge look, which is why there are some native flowers in here. And it's not all, you know, hybrids and all that sort of stuff. There are some native plants in here. In fact, there's probably more of those than anything else. But the poppies have come up in various places, and they're a lovely little splash of orangey yellow. Those have actually got a proper name, because I looked it up, but their nickname is Welsh poppies. Now, given that a lot of the plants came from Carroll in deepest West Wales, I think having some Welsh poppies in the border is appropriate. So that's what's happening. What else? These foxgloves that self-seeded, totally in the wrong places. If I move them now, they will droop. If they droop, I doubt if the flower spikes will develop. So despite being in the wrong place, they're just going to have to be where they are. All the different ferns are coming up now. You can start to see the differences. You've got this little one here. Now that might be a small version of that one. It could be, but it could be a different one. And then you've got these in here. These are different, definitely. And then you've got this one that is very different again. And then you've got these. There's quite a few of those here and here. But then you've got that one. That's different. And so is the one behind it. So there's 5 or 6 different types of ferns in here. And ferns obviously tend to be woodland plants. So and then there's this one here. And this one is a more fully grown version of this one. So that's all coming on nicely. The London Pride is looking nice now. It's starting to open up, looking good. The Aqualegias, I'm pleased that I've still got them because I thought they'd gone. And yeah, so, and the deep purple ones are, if not our native species that you can find in the wild, then they're very close. So we like those. Everything's wet because I went round with a hose this morning because it's just so dry at the moment. It's upsetting now because, you know, farmers, they've got crops that have germinated and then just frazzled in the sun. We've had no significant rain in the south of England for nearly 2 months now, right at the time when everything's germinating and, you know, trying to progress. So there was I thought there was a butterfly behind me, but it's the little robin on the step. Now something's happened because there's always been 2 this year. In the last week or so there's only been 1. So I don't know what's happened to the other one. Now that's a nesting pair basically. And as there's only 1 left, I sure hope it hasn't abandoned the nest. The pairs of birds that are around, there was a pair of goldfinches, they still visit occasionally. They're a nesting pair. It's a nesting pair of hedge sparrows. They come and peck around on the ground every day, quite frequently. A pair of nesting blackbirds, they peck around on the ground as well. Plus the male blackbird has become a clever dick. He actually lands on here, on the edge of there, and flies and hits this hard and whacks it. When he whacks it, some of the seeds come out like that. Then he picks them up off the ground because he can't balance on those tiny little things. So yes, an evolutionary process that he's learnt to do by watching other birds land on there and get the seeds, I presume. Yes, so the rose has got some buds now. So we'll have some roses, I suspect. Yeah, I was just going to say, and I suspect they're covered in green fly. I shall go and get the spray, but not now because it's in full sun. But that I am prepared to spray because I can spray that rose without getting it on everything else. And prior to the roses coming out, there won't be any bees or anything trying to land on the rose because there's no blooms there yet. I always get this, I got it confused last year, I shall get it confused again. But these tall plants coming up, some of them are Michaelmas daisies and some of them are phlox. And I just keep forgetting which one's which, quite honestly, and I don't care. The phlox will be in bloom relatively soon, and the Michaelmas daisies are late summer bloomers, so there you go. And the foxgloves I planted that Helen gave me, those 3 back there have taken nicely, and they're starting to produce spikes. So we're going to have foxgloves in that area there. So that'll be nice. So that's what's going on over here. This is the little hellebore that Helen gave me. Has green flowers with purple tinges around the edge. I need to get that planted at some point. That will grow on quite vigorously this year, and then we should have the green flowers next year. Airport sounds busy. Yeah, so that's sort of what's going on at the moment. The chives have got flowers now, they'll be in bloom soon, the bees love them. And over here it's just more of the same, there's nothing new. The wisteria is still looking good. That isn't covered in leaves because the blooms up there, the leaves have come out over the top now, so you can't see the blooms. That happens every time. But yeah, I spent some time cleaning up the bonsai pots, so you know, they've lost all their moss and weeds and everything. That's Mojo's new spot that he likes. Dappled shade because it's stripy. And the sun moves, so obviously the sun's not on him in the same place all the time. He likes that, or he seems to like that. We got buds on this rose as well, and this is a mass bloomer. Has lots and lots of small roses, And again, some of the insects like to land on there. This is an anomaly because although it looks really good, this is red valerian, which is a wild flower basically, and it's looking really good, and the blooms are fully open, and I've yet to see an insect land on it. And I bought that, well, Carol gave me the original ones, and I asked for those because they were classed as pollinator friendly blooms, so should be liked by bees and butterflies and the like. And I haven't seen a bee or a butterfly land on there yet, and it's in full bloom. So weird, very weird. But anyway, it looks nice. That'll do. And what I'm looking forward to is a lot of this ground cover is thyme, a herb obviously, but it's a ground hugging rather than a low shrubby type. And it's self-seeded all over the place. There's stacks of it. But it should bloom. And when it does, it's going to be a mass of lovely pinkish flowers. And I thought I'd got rid of this, and it suddenly started growing again. Its nickname is horsetails. It's effectively poisonous. So as soon as I see it, I pull it out. But it just will not die off. It just keeps coming back. Just can't get rid of it. Oh. I just pull it out and leave it in the sun. It's dead in about an hour. Now I've decided to have a bit of a clean up, because although the things I've got in the garden I like, some of them are in the wrong place and they can spoil the look. Now I'm sure everybody would be well pleased if they had a show of forget-me-nots like that in their garden. That is a stunning show as expected. But up the back there, that's red valerian. It doesn't belong there. I don't want a clump of red valerian in that area. So I'm going to start pulling things out that are in the wrong place. And that includes the forget-me-nots that have got going in places they shouldn't be, like here. They're in the middle of a really nice clump of thyme. I don't want them there. And we've got red valerian over here. I don't want that there. That belongs here. Yeah? So I might be thinking of, and it's like here. I've got the cuckoo flowers, which I really like. This camera won't show the colours. I wonder if I put it in the shade. It's a very, very delicate pink, but it tends to show up white on the camera. But there's forget-me-nots I've got in amongst those. I'm going to pull those out. They don't belong there. It's not like I'm going to lose them, is it? Yes, and there's a few forget-me-nots I've got in over here as well. So the red valerian that's whoops, fall off the edge of the step, that's got going a little bit away from this clump, that can stay. That'll be okay. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of rationalising, shall we say. Oh look, you probably won't see that because they're so tiny. There's a little mint moth. It's a tiny little day-flying moth that is shades of brown and yellowy cream. A very pretty little thing. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. I doubt if I can. Oh god, this is nearly impossible. Well, I can see which leaf it's on. So if I just zoom in on the end of the leaf, you may be able to see it. There. It's a tiny little day-flying moth. Very attractive. Scruffy cat. Right, so as you see, the cleaned up bonsai pots set off the plants an awful lot better. That didn't take a lot of work. I've still got some to do, but we've done those, and we've got almost an open flower on the sarracenias. There's more flowers to come. So we're going to have a few flowers, and they are starting to come into growth now. There's some new tubes, I suppose you call them. So they will start to bulk up a bit. Some of those are going to need to go into bigger pots at some point. Not now. Right, so that's what's going on at the moment. Things to come that don't really get any attention. This bush here, if you look, is a mass of flower buds. Now those are tiny little creamy white flowers. Don't ask me what the bush is called, I haven't got a clue. But as you can see, it's covered in buds, absolutely smothered in buds. And if you look up there, that's the pyracantha. Now that needs pruning before it gets too tall and gets out of hand. But look again, look at the buds. I'm not pruning that when it's about to come into flower because the bees absolutely adore that. So we won't be touching that until it's finished blooming. If we prune it then, we will sacrifice the orangey red berries, which I may have to do. But what we can do, if we're going to sacrifice the berries on that one, because I don't want it getting too tall, is over here is another one. And the blooms are just opening on this one. So again, lovely white blooms. We've still got some blooms on the camellia over there. But again, look at, this is a mass of blooms, or will be. This one only needs a gentle prune for these extensions. The rest of it doesn't need pruning at this time of year, so this one can be allowed to have the berries. So we'll let this one flower and get the berries. Now I'm stuck. I can't get out without treading on ground cover plants. It's getting difficult. It's like an obstacle course trying to get anywhere apart from on the paths, which is what they're there for. It's another bit of that horsetail stuff. You just gonna have to keep at it. Flipping stuff. Still, having a walk round and pulling a few things out that shouldn't be there is not exactly a big deal, is it? It does mean bending over, but not for any length of time. I'm okay with that. So there we go. That's what's going on out here. These geraniums have only just come outside, so they will end up going in a place where they get some sunshine. They've been hard pruned, that's why they look a bit straggly, but where they've been pruned they will shoot out and grow nice new shoots, which will then flower. So there'll be a bushier plant as a consequence, and literally they will just sit in these pots. And hopefully the wind won't blow them over. So they can just go in there. And because the pots are blue, they will match in with a lot of the other tubs. This is an exception. We did have some green ones. Most of them are blue. But I will find somewhere for those geraniums where they get some sun, but not all day burning sun. And then they should bloom really well. And there'll be a nice splash of, well, one's a pretty deep red and the other one's an orangey red, so that should be good. But yeah, as far as these poppies are concerned, as far as I'm concerned, they stay. And they can be allowed to self-seed wherever they like, and if some come up where I don't want them, they can just be pulled out. But I mean, if you look at that one up the back there, there's 2 blooms on that one and 2 buds right next to them. So it's gonna, you know, they just keep repeat flowering. That one's got a bloom, it's got a couple of buds, and it's got a seed pod. So they look after themselves. So, talking of seed pods, that's a lovely seed pod, and that's my snake's head fritillary, along with a scarlet beetle. Don't ask me what the beetle is because I don't know. But yes, lots of things going on. But most of it is just, you know, the late spring coming into summer things coming into their own. and there's still plenty to come. The crocosmia there, those sword leaves sticking up, that'll have a gorgeous splash of red in the not too distant future. Let's have a look. Any sign of any spikes yet? No, I don't see any yet, but they'll be there soon. They're a summer bloomer, so they'll be there soon. And that'll add a lovely splash of red up into that corner. And gradually these poppies will... It's a real cheeky little devil, that robin. I wonder what happened to the partner. I wonder what happened to the other one. Could have been that. Jackdaws. See, that blackbird's just chased the jackdaw off. Jackdaws, crows, magpies, they will all steal chicks out of the nest if they can find it. Chaffinch. He obviously didn't see me at all. There's a pair of chaffinches. They come down on the feeders quite frequently, you know, quite a few times during the day. So they've got a nest nearby somewhere, as well as the others. I don't think any of the nests are in the garden. I'd have probably seen the birds coming and going from a particular place in the garden if they were in the garden, but they can't be far away. So they're around somewhere. Which is good. But, maybe we'll see the youngsters. I did get to film the young robins last year sitting along that fence top, being fed by the parents. But hopefully that nest will survive with only one parent. As long as there's plenty of food around, and well, we don't know whether it's a he or she. I can't tell the difference. They look the same to me. So hopefully the nest will survive and the youngsters will make it. So anyway, that's it. Enough waffling, and let's have a nice close-up of what some would say is a weed, but not me. As far as I'm concerned, that's a brightly coloured, well worth having wildflower. I'm talking about wildflowers. The fringe cup is a native wildflower. The ferns are native wildflowers. So there's quite a bit of native stuff in here. And yeah, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.